Loco, yes, man, we made it back. We made it back safe and sound, man. I am so exhausted. So exhausted right now. I just want to get back into bed and go to sleep. Been doing a lot of driving. Man, as soon as we hit Vegas, we hit the ground running. We got a lot of content. I did a lot of vlogging. Some way, somehow, I'm going to have to... Let me know if you can hear me, man. Some way, somehow, I'm going to have to put it all together. You know, put it in one big video, hopefully, so I can, you know, get that posted. We had a good time. We had some moments. And I have to tell you, man, it's good to be back here. It's kind of like a civilization. It's what we're so used to. But I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. You and the fam. As always, right? And you're always winning. I know you're always winning something. So what you win this time? And I'm a little disappointed, man. I'm disappointed at the baggage handlers because I don't know if you guys can see that, man. These are my G Fuel cans. I was going to keep these. I have to get another camera, man. I'm going to use the other camera because I don't like this green screen thing. But I got Spyro the Dragon and I had to get the Mega Man. Well, can we put that up? Can we put that up? Can we put that up? Yep. Go the other way. Had to get that Mega Man, man. Yeah, we back, man. We back. Let's go. So guys, I know I missed out on a lot. I know there's a lot of news coming through the airwaves, the FTC and the Microsoft whole trial thing. I wouldn't say trial, but hearing. So I haven't been able to, watch that. I've just been busy with family, having a good time. Great time out in Vegas. Then we went over to the Hoover Dam. That was a great time. And then we went over, I think the next day we went out to the Grand Canyon the next day, which was like a 4-hour drive out to Arizona. And that was a good time because we were able to see the open landscape and also the mountainous areas, something that we're not used to over here. Great time. Let me know if you guys can hear me, man. If I need to speak up, turn the volume up. Let me know. But from there, I have to say, man, I have to tell you guys this, man. There are some daring people out in this world, right? And sometimes you just don't understand it. So how much did you lose? Man, I lost some weight. The heat out there is different. It's different, man. That's the only thing that I lost. We didn't even play any slot machines out there. We didn't gamble at all. I mean, it was, my wife was just she was mesmerized by it a little bit because she's never been to Vegas, and it was nice, man. It was nice to get out and see that. Shouldn't have sold you. Nah, man. You know what? I was not gonna go through that. I was not gonna go that route. If I gambled, just to lose everything, I'm pretty sure the kids would have been a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, they got kidneys, they got a heart, they got lungs. You know what I'm saying? They got everything that you need, man. Here it is. We need to win this money back. But nah, I would never do that. Never sell my kids. But, shout out Loco, D Nice, what's up? I think I'm glad you're here, man. It's the weekend. He says traffickers say they miss you. And, to go back what I was saying earlier, man, people are daring. And we went out to the Grand Canyon and you had people, taking photos, doing crazy stuff, man. I mean, the fence area, along the trail, it's easy for you to just lean over the fence and just fall right down into the canyon, dude. I'm telling you. And, watching some of these people take photos, I'm like, guys and girls, it's not. I mean, you can just take a photo just by standing next to the fence and get everything in the background, right? These people hanging off the side of the fence, little kids up on the fence. I'm like, dude, you guys are just one slip away, man, to death. I hate to put it in that. I'm like, let's just not be a part of that, right? So let's just keep it moving. And I don't understand people. All for a photo, right? From my understanding, no one, there wasn't any reports or anything, but there was a lot of tourists out there. A lot of people having a great time. I know we had a great time, and I would love to revisit someday. But at the same time, man, that trip was crazy. Again, we did get a chance to see a lot of the landscape, and something that we're not familiar with, and it was a wonderful time. So D Nice says the FTC thing is driving me crazy. It need to be done already. Laugh out loud. I just want to play games now, no matter what console. Hey, I said what I said out on Twitter. I wasn't going to, post anything about gaming on Twitter. Just give you guys just a little bit of what we were doing out in Vegas. Just to try to steer away from the whole, fiasco thing that was going on between FTC and Microsoft. I didn't really want to get into it. I just wanted to spend time with family, right? Because that's what's most important. Family is important than a video game. Family is more important than a PlayStation or Xbox. The only benefit to those consoles is you can play video games on them. I mean, they bring no other benefit to me personally, to my life, unless I just need to have a getaway. But other than that, I just wanted to share some of that with you guys, what we were doing. And the thinker, I have to share with you guys this. Freaking Chris Angel, Mind Freak. Man, he did some shout out to Chris Angel because he responded. I don't know if it was him that responded to my text or if he had one of his people respond to the text, but he did promise that he would definitely respond himself. So Chris Angel, if you did respond, big shout out to him, man. So we went to Chris Angel Mind Freak Magic Street Magic show, but it was inside Planet Hollywood, Chris Angel Theater, I think that's what it was called. The guy is insane. It's just insane, man. I don't know how these magicians do it. I know there's some, smoke and mirrors and slip of the hands and et cetera, but it could be so freaking convincing that, I just don't know. And just I think what's going on here is, they're doing stuff behind the scenes and to make it look real. Because he pulled 4 women out of the crowd. He pulled 4 women. I don't know if he knew these women, but these women look like they were in the theater with us. They just walked through the door or whatever. So maybe they did something and like, hey, you guys gonna walk in and we're just gonna, rehearse this thing and blah, 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 blah. But the way they were playing along with it was just it seemed so scripted in a way. But according to them, it wasn't scripted. So it was just mind blowing. And his levitation, dude, my man walked down the side of a ladder. He walked down the side of a ladder. My man walked in midair. Dude, we didn't see no strings, no nothing. I'm like, dude, how in the world are you doing this? If this is not some devil stuff. But it was crazy. It was crazy. Everybody had a great time. The atmosphere was great. The music, the sound bites, everything was just on point. Chris came out, he gave some heartfelt speeches. He talked about his son, when his son was 22 months old. I think his son died of cancer. It was very heartfelt in that arena. And he did a great job, man. Him and his team did a great job with the magic, man. It was just mesmerizing. So I was like, man, I'm glad we actually got the opportunity to witness all that. So we did go out we were 1 mile away from Area 51. The son wanted to go out and, take a photo of the fence. So we went out to Rachel, and my wife went into this little store in Rachel, and she asked for directions. So apparently the directions were wrong, and so we ended up. It was kind of like our fault, man. We should have did some research, via YouTube the day before, but we didn't do that. And come to find out, once we got to a certain spot, way out there in alien country, we got a signal, and then we looked at YouTube, and it was just 1 mile down the street from Rachel. So I was like, "You have got to be kidding me!" And it was so hot out there. I mean, temperatures reached to like 104 degrees, man. I mean, it was just up and down. There's certain spots that it was crazy. One moment it's like 92 degrees. Next moment it's like 98 degrees. You go a little bit up the road and then it's 102 degrees. I'm like, man, this is insane, right? So we get out there, man. It's just miles open, just open mountain plain area. I'm surprised we didn't even see any UFOs, anything out there, because you get that vibe, you get that feeling like, man, this is it, man. You could see a UFO at any given time, man, and your eyes will play tricks on you. But it was a great time. What else did we do? Did we do anything else? I don't think we did anything else. We saw some what they do in Vegas, man. It's crazy. Um, but again, we had a great time. Great time. And so the next stop, guys, is gonna be Japan next year. And then after that, it's going to be I don't know. My wife wants to go to England, and she's already been to France, but the kids and myself has never been to France or Paris, and I think it's going crazy out in France right now. So, but that's the next stop. So if you guys get an opportunity, spend time with family, man. All this stuff is going to be here, the video games, the consoles, and all that stuff where you can just get away, et cetera, et cetera. And I know you guys like to, keep abreast with the news and see what's going out there in the gaming world. And that's okay as well. And to do a 180 back, the reason why I posted what I posted out on Twitter, because I was getting DMs, I was getting, silly comments, about my take on some things. And I'm like, okay, that's great. So, you know what? I'm not going to argue, about video games. I don't want to do that. I'm a grown man. I mean, grown men, why do grown men argue about video games in the context of just want to argue? Okay. We can have an argument about video games as long as it's constructive, it's an intellectual conversation, and you don't have your feelings involved, right? You don't get emotional. Dude, at the end of the day, we can agree to disagree and then move on. But other than that, when you make like small comments like, "Oh, you done crying," and come into the DM like, this and that. I'm like, look, come on, guys. I'm just gonna ignore you on that. So, if you're not gonna bring anything to the conversation, then I don't want to have the conversation with you. I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm a grown man. Who does that? Combine both and take the family. Osaka. We've been there. We have been there. I think it was last year. Last year we went to Japan. We went to Super Nintendo World. My wife threw away my collectible Nintendo World Coca-Cola bottle. I was heated, man. I was like, no, don't do that. And so that's going. I don't know if we're gonna go back. If we do go back, I'll bring you a souvenir back. Matter of fact, you know what? Since I have you three in the chat right now, I'll bring you guys some back if we do go there. Local, I was gonna get you something out in Vegas, man, out in alien country, because I don't know if it's you or Coolier. One of you guys like that alien stuff, right? Let me know if I'm right about that. I was gonna grab you something out there and like, hey, I think local, but I wasn't for sure which one of if it was you or if it was Coolier, so I didn't do anything. So I brought a mug for myself. But yeah, again, we did go to Super Nintendo where I have plenty of video. Thinker, I can send you. I have plenty of video on my phone right now. I can share with you. But I would recommend, since there is one being built right now in Orlando. I don't know how far along it is. But if you have a chance to go out to Cali, there's one. There's that one that's out in Cali that's open right now. You know what? Forget you, Thinker. I'm going to personally bring that myself. I'm going to bring it. How about, what are you doing next weekend? I can stop by and I can bring you your hoodies. Let me know what you're doing next weekend. This weekend, right now, Again, I'm still exhausted. It's Saturday. We just got the dogs back from pup camp. They're excited to be back. Everybody's just resting up right now, and then we have next week. I think it's going to be a short week, the July 4th holiday. And but let me know if you're going to be available next weekend. I don't know, in Baltimore or wherever. Well, I'm not coming to New York. But if you're available here, where if you're right down the road, I'll bring your hoodies to you, because I know you've been waiting on those. But I got you guys. I'll bring you guys something back from Japan next year. So now, if there's, for the time being, if there's anything specific that you are wanting from Japan, let me know. Because this time when we do go to Japan, I think my father-in-law wants to take us up north, and we're gonna go up towards Mount Fuji, and I think he's gonna take us up to traditional Japan, if I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken. If Mrs. Covington is here, she's watching. She would know, because she's had that conversation with him. So he's gonna spend a little money and take us, because I think, man, we have seen a lot in Japan, and it's just like every time we go back, it's always something new that we haven't seen. So the culture is very, very beautiful, man. And the people are the people, yes, they are. Actually, my sister-in-law is coming. She's coming this December. I think right after Christmas, and then she's gonna stay for New Year's. On. I think for like maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks she's gonna be here. 2 or 3 weeks she's gonna be here. But my mother-in-law and father are not coming. They don't like to fly. They just like me. They don't like to fly. So I think the closest that my father-in-law will probably fly is Hawaii or California. And mind you guys, look, my missus and her family are rich, okay? But none of the money. Because somebody reached out to me like, dude, I heard you got money. You like, it's got to be from your missus. I'm like, nah, no, all this is just, me saving up. My wife being a part of that, because she's an accountant. I mean, she has an accountant mind. She's not an accountant, but she has a degree in accounting, and she used to work with her father's company. So she knows how to save up money. She knows where to put money here, and there. So that's where we are today, because of her. So I have to give her a big shout out. Oh, yes. And one of her cousins is a millionaire. Actually, she has another cousin, I believe, that's a banker. I think he may be here in the United States right now. His father wanted him to go to school in Japan or somewhere else for something else, but he decided to be a banker. I think he's here in the States. It's every single time it's something new. So everything that we do, it's on my own dime. I don't even know why I'm even sharing that. But anyways, what else, guys? So back to the elephant in the room. Okay, what have I missed? What have we missed? So the FTC, Microsoft ordeal, I heard that it's over now. Someone pinged me earlier and told me that it was over. So I think it's going to be like a few weeks before a decision is going to come out. and to see if this deal goes through or not. What if the FTC is on board? So what do we miss, guys? What's going on with you? What's going on? What's going on? Loco, D Nice, Thinker, what's going on, man? PE, what's going on, man? PE, just the guy I want to speak to. Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Yes, man, it's good to be back. So what's going on with you, man? So, this is going to be that, we're just going to hang out and chill for right now. But I do want to do some gameplay. I'm still tired. Yesterday was a long day, but we made it home, safe and sound. So, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you guys a question. Game Pass versus game sales. Okay? Do you guys think, I just want you guys' honest opinion, do you guys think Game Pass has a huge positive or negative impact on game sales? So Game Pass versus game sales. Do you guys think Game Pass so far has had a positive or negative impact on game sales? So what do you guys think about that? Because I have a lot of questions, man. And it seems like, social media is so saturated and so invested. And, it's social media, right? And, people like to get on Twitter. They like to get on other social media platforms and have these conversations about what's going on in the gaming industry. And that's okay. What can you do? It's out of your control. But I think some of the narrative is just, just mind blowing. Like, so what do you guys think, man? And PE, I didn't respond to your email you sent me because I wanted to talk to you. If there's any way, man, you're gonna have to increase your internet speeds or get yourself some better internet if you can afford to, so we can podcast it up, man. Because I think we'll have a great conversation around these subjects, and there's some other elephants in the room that I would like to talk about as well. Especially some statements that were made, during the FTC Microsoft ordeal by, I think his name was Satala or whatever his name is, the main Microsoft guy, Phil Spencer, to see, some of the other major players that was at the table. So Game Pass, I would say it depends on other factors. So other factors. So, with Game Pass, I'm looking at it like, and I remember a story way back when, I think it was around, there was a conversation or something. I don't know if it was an interview with Phil Spencer, where when Forza Horizon 4 came out, there was something stated around Game Pass didn't have any effect on that game sales, digital or physical media. That may be the case, but I think Game Pass was in its infancy at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then as it moved along, a lot of gamers may have decided to say, hey, why buy digital or physical media or software where I can go into Game Pass and play the game for free? Because I don't remember when Day and Date came out. I don't remember when they announced that. But when Microsoft announced Day and Date, that was huge. That was huge right there. And that presented so much value to that subscription service that you can't beat it. I mean, how do you beat something like that? How does Sony compete with something like that? Right? So with day and date and right then and there, I mean, that's where Microsoft are inking their deals with third-party publishers and saying, hey, you can have your game here in Game Pass day and date. There's got to be, some incentives to that. So, oh no, I didn't respond to your email. So don't check it, because again, I wanted to talk to you about these things that's been on my mind. To understand the business model shift to digital streaming service, Game Pass Research 2016 World Economic Forum essay by Ida Alkin. And big shout out to you, the thinker, because I did share with the chat one day. I don't know if you were here or not, but I shared with the chat that you have this knack for business. You have this you understand it, this whole business thing. And it's it's because sometimes when I have a conversation with you, I sit down and listen, because I take everything that you say to heart, because it just makes sense. It just makes perfect sense. And man, if there's any way I can have you on the show where you can share that information, that will be great. So, so that others can hear you talk about this. And I think at this point, this is my opinion at this point, it's economics, man. You have a subscription service at this point that's it's there, it's stamped, and also with high value to it. So when it comes to, it's almost like you got to get on the train, right? You got to get on board, or you're going to be left behind, right? So when you have publishers, looking at their numbers and like, oh man, we see a decline here, we see a decline here, in digital sales or physical sales, what alternative do we have? So you have Game Pass. Like, man, we can look at this and see how this is moving, and how we can, make our, revenue streams go back up, profit streams go back up, et cetera, et cetera. So, and it's a risk. It is a risk. These companies, they take risks. But however, how does that look in the long term? Will you recoup? Will you get your money back? Your investments. I don't like to say money, your investment back in, these games that you're putting out. So to me, I think it makes economic sense. Based on those factors. But I do think Game Pass at this time does have an impact on digital and physical media, physical software. And I wouldn't be surprised, again, like I stated before, Blockbuster goes out of business. Not Blockbuster, I'm sorry. But now since we're talking about Blockbuster, you guys know the whole ordeal around Blockbuster, right? What happened to Blockbuster? I think they went bankrupt. And man, I remember walking in Blockbusters. Blockbuster, you can get, VHS tapes, and then then you can watch movie on disc. It was compressed. You can watch it on CD. Like, man, Blu-ray players came out. The whole VHS thing just kind of, went away, and then Blu-ray came out. Then, man, it was like, yo, this is crazy. And then you can go in and get your video games, man. It didn't matter what system. I know the Blockbuster that we had, we can go in, we can get games for Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Xbox. At one point, they had it all. I was like, yo, because some Blockbuster stores were like huge. And all of a sudden, dude, things have changed, man. Um, so not Blockbuster, but GameStop. GameStop. I don't think GameStop's gonna go out of business. I wouldn't be shocked if they do, maybe in the next 10 years. They'll go out. They're probably like, hey, they'll be back in the news like, look, man, it depends. Well, I think it depends on what happens moving forward with these gaming companies. You own nothing and be happy. I like that. Yes, it was huge, and they were forced to release day and date because of that time. They didn't have content, while Sony with PS Now was ahead of them on good games. Now, were they forced? Were they forced to release day and date? Were they forced to release day and date? Because you have to remember, this is a competitive market. It's a competitive market. So yes, whoever your competition is definitely going to have some type of influence on the decision making, with your company and how you're going to move forward. I mean, if I'm competing against you and I'm seeing it, firsthand, I'm like, okay, so PE has this and this going for him. So how do we see? That's why I would like to have the thinker on my team, because I know we would put everybody out of business. Me and the thinker will put everybody out of business, because you want to have the right people on your team that understand the business, that has this thing about them that hey, I know what it is, I know how it is, I've been around it, I've gone through the experience. I've talked to executives here and executives there, from men and women, from different countries. I know what it is. I have an eye for this stuff, so that's why. And that's just it. You're invaluable, man. And we had conversations. I talked to you about, investing, right? You were on Wall Street. I mean, you knew how, that whole thing, right? For me, it's just like walking into class for the first time. I'm like, dude, I have no clue where do I even start? How do I invest? Right now, my Microsoft stock, and I'm gonna keep my Microsoft stock, period. Because they're looking good. But now that I'm starting to understand, how it works, because it's who of me to get down and do my research and figure this thing out, right? And when I listen to someone like yourself, the thinker, when we're talking about investment and stuff like that, I take this stuff to heart. I take it to heart, because you never know, when you can use that information, right? And you're not the only one that I talked to. I talked to Schumacher. I talked to Cumberbatch. The forefathers that we have in our office, right? I talked to those guys, and those guys are pretty much saying the same thing that you had shared with me, but you had a better understanding how it works. And I just took it all and like, hey, let's just start small and see how this thing moves. And then we'll make a decision later if we want to get more, deeper into it. But I'm taking my time right now. I don't want to, push the envelope where I throw everything in the pot, if you know what I'm saying. And then next thing I know, I'm losing my wife, I'm losing my kids, I'm losing the house, I'm losing the car. I have to put my G Fuel cans collectibles on eBay. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, if you look at the criticality, Do you notice that Game Pass won't survive? Well, thank you, 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 because this is something that I was thinking about while I was on the trip, and not to say that others have not thought about this. I mean, it's common sense, right? Microsoft has to stand on this. And the reason why I say they have to stand on this, because if you backtrack, Game Pass is gonna lose its efficacy. It's going to break. It's gonna fall apart. Here's why: when you put something like day and date, something that ambitious, something that invaluable into a subscription service and give it to the gamers, it's almost like you can't go backwards. You can't go backwards. Day and date is here to stay. You have to keep that, right? Because that's the only thing right now is keeping Game Pass afloat. And that's the only thing right now that's keeping your hardcore, well, I wouldn't say hardcore, we're keeping, more gamers coming in to subscribe to Game Pass. They want to experience that value when it comes to gaming. I'm like, wow, day and date. So again, Microsoft is inking deals. They have to be inking deals to have those games day one in Game Pass. You cannot go back. If you happen to lose that day and date, somehow you get rid of that, Game Pass is just going to be another subscription service. And your subscribers are going to fall immediately. And then I'm going to have to change my my stocks. I'm going to have to switch over to somebody else. But let me know if you guys agree with that, because day and date is huge, man. And, even though Microsoft and Sony have two different paths and, what they're doing with their subscription services, you can't deny that Microsoft has done something that they're banking on. And it's not just for the short term. It has to be for the long term. You cannot get rid of day and date at this given time, or you're going to rule the day that you ever did decide to get rid of it. And don't be surprised that even though the price of the Game Pass services, the prices have went up, don't be surprised if they go up again. Okay? Do not be surprised if they go up again. It's just like Netflix. We're going to see it. We're definitely going to see it. So thank you for making that statement, because I was thinking about it the whole trip. Well, not the whole trip, but a little part of the trip, and I was like, you can't get rid of that. And innovation. Yeah, innovation is key when it comes, every business knows that, innovation is key. What part of the keys on the key ring, right? And yes, your competition is going to have some part or play some part in you're making those decisions to innovate. You have to, and especially when you're in that market, you have to compete. You have to compete, right? So Sony decided to take a different route. It was like, nah, we're not putting our games in our subscription service day and date, but this is what we're going to offer. Is it working for Sony? Maybe. Is day and date working for Microsoft? Yes, it is. It's huge. But I don't know of any diehard, right? Or any, Xbox fans, such as myself. I'm an Xbox fan. I'm not a fanboy. Okay. Again, you guys know who I am. I don't share with you who I am. I love some of the Xbox games. You get rid of that day and date, it's a wrap. Because if you're already admitting defeat right now, it's saying that you're in third place against the other players, um, then day and date, the getting rid of day and date would be the nail in the coffin. Period. So my final thought on Game Pass versus game sales. Does Game Pass have a positive and negative or negative impact on game sales? I think when it comes to digital and physical, I do agree that moving forward, Game Pass is going to be that that driver that's going to have a negative impact on digital and physical sales. Okay, those numbers are going to fall. And if Microsoft continues to innovate with Game Pass and continue to have day and date within that subscription service, it's gonna end up being huge. It's gonna be huge moving forward. So we'll see what happens. So what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think, man? Give me your thoughts. Give me your opinions. How you feel about the whole thing. I don't know if the thinker, I don't know if you've been keeping up with it. Loco, D Nice, I hope you're still in the chat. If you guys want to share your thoughts and opinions on it, oh, that'd be great, man. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts around it. In the meantime, let me see if I can ask another question here. Sony is now trolling Microsoft by shifting release Baldur's Gate to Starfields. We could do 60 You know what? And it's interesting, when these little jabs post out on social media, man, it just goes crazy. It's like being in the arena at a Mayweather fight or whoever your favorite boxer is, right? And these guys, these two companies is just, just trading jabs left and right. And, you have both sides. Sony's going to win. No, Sony is winning. No, Xbox is going to win. No, Microsoft is winning. So, at the end of the day, these two companies, they're going to continue to compete. But we'll see what happens. And it's funny. I just think it's hilarious when these jabs come out. It's just like, when Sony did their showcase and Xbox came out and said, "Oh, look what's gonna be on looks what's gonna be in Game Pass day one." And that was savage. It was savage. I was like, "Yo, Microsoft hitting back." And that's crazy. And so I'm betting on both companies. You know what I'm saying? At least I get my money back. It end up being a wash, right? Depending on who does what next, I may throw a little bit more cash on the other side. He says, D Nice still here. He says, I'm here. Just think Game Pass hurting a lot of developers. I would like to hear, what do you guys think? I would like to hear from the actual developers. I would like to hear from them. I would like to hear from the publishers. Like, what do you guys, I heard, I didn't hear. I read the statement when it came to not Phil Spencer, but Jim Ryan saying that he spoke to developers and they all think that Game Pass is destructive or something like that. And like I said, you have to be careful what you say and how you say it. Now, if Jim Ryan spoke to every single developer, right, or publisher and said that Game Pass is destructive, you have to let's say if that's the case. But that doesn't mean that the publisher will not put their game in Game Pass day and date, because there's got to be some other factors that's in play and the reason why they're still putting their games in Game Pass, right? There's got to be something that we don't know. So that's why I would love to have, like, if ever in my wildest dream, if I can get a publisher or a developer on here on a podcast and ask that question or a series of questions, what do you think about Game Pass? Right? So I agree with you, D Nice, that there's something there. There's something there, and I do believe developers, some developers will come out and say, yes, Game Pass is just one of those things. It has its positives, it has its negatives, right? And you have to think about it. These developers, they put their heart and souls into these video games, right? Whether you like them or not. They spend a lot of time, they spend a lot of resources into these video games. So that's why I tip my hat to these developers and these publishers. I'm like, look, guys and girls, thank you. Because without these developers, we wouldn't have any video games, right? But I'm on the same side with you there. I think, keyword think, Game Pass does hurt, does have a negative impact. PE, where I am, Game Pass would have been great if our internet isn't expensive. So I choose to subscription. And that's another huge factor too, because you don't have the infrastructure. I don't think where you're at to be able to, be online. And I know we have some challenges with each other trying to connect with each other and hopefully do a podcast with each other to talk more about this. And sometimes when we do get online, we get disconnected, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I think that's huge. So there's something that Microsoft sees that we don't see, or we may know about, or we talk about, but until we see it. And what I'm talking about is that infrastructure. There's something that's there that Microsoft is playing a hand in. And I mean, if we can get that infrastructure on a global scale, Microsoft will be pretty much unstoppable. I don't know how any other way to put it. Microsoft will just be unstoppable. But until that happens, we're just gonna have to wait and see. If I'm making sense here. By the way, I know you got a lot of catching up to do with Final Fantasy 16. But the Titan fight is one of the best I've ever experienced graphically and length. You know what? I'm past that part. That Titan fight was, I think it was in my 4th stream. I don't know how far you are along from the Titan fight, but that's one of the best fights I've seen. And again, guys, I'm sorry for those who PS5 has crashed, overheated, but man, my PS5 is still golden. It's good. I haven't had one crash, no nothing. I mean, the boss battles are just epic, man. Just completely epic. I can come over and be on the podcast. Just gotta pick a good weekend. Yes. I would just let me get everything situated. I have to hook up the other cameras and just make sure that that we're both here live on stream, and we can have a conversation about whatever topics that's being talked about or being discussed at that moment. Because the thing is, I don't want to dwell too much on the past. The past is the past, even though it's relevant up to what's going on right now. But we want to keep, stay current. But I'll let you know once I get everything hooked up, get everything tested out. And then and then we'll schedule, man, because I would love to have you over, man. I would love to pick your brain on a lot of different topics, especially, what's going on in the gaming industry, man, and, with these companies. I do have a question for you guys. That question is based on what has happened, so far, what you've read, and, the FTC and Microsoft and Sony pointing the fingers at each other, throwing jabs at each other. Do you think both companies have produced unethical business practices? So, for example, because I noticed, Phil Spencer, made a statement as far as how Sony is conducting themselves as far as inking deals that would keep Microsoft not being able to compete in such a way with them is one of the reasons why they're in third place. And I noticed the fanboys on both sides, and and nothing against the fanboys. I mean, you're gonna love whatever side you love. You're gonna choose your preferred platform. But do you guys think that there's some unethical business practices between both companies, both Sony and Microsoft, and how they're competing against each other? If that question makes sense. But yeah, man. Yeah. And PE, if I'll reach out to you too, man, if I can get the Thinker to come over and we can get everything set up, and, reach out to you and see if we can connect with you and bring you on the podcast as well, because I know you have a lot of good insight, on these topics, and you understand, to an extent, because, you have been a player in the game for, quite some time based on the conversations that we had, in the past. So, but yes, to go back to the Thinker statement there, yeah, Final Fantasy 16. I think I did give my thoughts on Final Fantasy 16. Still got a lot to play. I did play some side quests offline, and I have to say the side quests are not exciting at all. They're very easy. They're very, just simple and easy. I'm like, you just go to one spot and then you pick up some things and then you just report back, in some cases. And I'm a little disappointed in that. I thought the side quests would be more engaging and, exciting to do, but they're not at all. I think I was able to complete, a lot of the side quests was like within an hour, because it was just, they're just so simple. So, but to think I may be far along than you are, with Final Fantasy 16, but I don't want you to put it in the chat. Well, you can put it in the chat where you're currently at, and I'll just say yay and nay. If I'm there, I don't see anything wrong with both parties. People are just being salty and using it as a motive to fuse their agenda against each other. It is what it is. It is what it is. My thing is, if you can come to the table and we can have a conversation around it where we can agree to disagree. Those are the type of conversations that I would like to have. Right? Much respect to everybody. I have nothing against anyone, right? But if you're going to come in and you don't bring nothing to the table and you just making smart random comments, Like, oh, you're done crying. I'm like, come on, that doesn't help anything. What are you talking about? You know, it's just, we're grown men and women here, right? We can have a conversation around this stuff. I just think some, especially when you're out on social media and you read some of the comments and you're like, I just breeze through it and I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. What does that have to do with what was stated? So I just keep it moving, man. Just don't have the time and energy for that type of vibe. Ethics and morals is not legally enforceable when it comes to making money. Good. Hey, I like that, because now that, see, this is why we need to talk. This is why we need to talk. So whatever Sony and Microsoft is doing to each other can only be focused on from a legal standpoint. And I am gonna channel back, because when I hear, when there's statements made, oh, Sony is doing this, Sony is doing that, and it's like, what are they doing wrong? They're inking deals with third-party publishers. So what you have to be able to come to the table and present your case. You have to have a legit argument by saying Sony is wrong by inking deals with third-party publishers for keeping games off Xbox. Okay, what did they do wrong? What did they do wrong? Because if I ink a deal with you for a time exclusive, or exclusive deals, and you sign away, that's between us, man. I didn't do anything wrong. You signed the deal, and that's, and I said that before, and I don't think reading some of the statements out there, it's just like, you guys are not understanding the business. You're not understanding it at all. To me, it's just mind-boggling. I'm sorry. I just call a spade a spade. It is what it is. I don't see anything that Sony did wrong, because if that's the case, then take that man to court. Take him to court. Prove your case. Prove it. Prove it that they're doing something wrong. Because what it is at the end of the day, you're in a space where you're competing, right? And if Microsoft can ink deals to have games into Game Pass day and date, then what is Sony doing wrong by inking deals to have exclusivity to their platform or time exclusives? What are they doing wrong? You take 7 years to make a game, then put it on Game Pass, and then from there you have a choice to purchase. Developer ain't making money because they're not purchasing the game, because gamers want Game Pass. Yes, and and I think I touched on this earlier. Because these developers and publishers, they're gonna look at their books, right? They're gonna look at and see, hey, what's not working, where are we falling short here, when it comes to games. And it takes a long time to make these games, man. And so, and you think about it, it's a digital future coming, And I think we talked about this, right? D-Nice, I think we talked about this. Let me know if it was you, but the Thinker can agree to this as well. And because I think he brought it up as well. It's just a matter of, coming home, picking up a controller and playing your games. You're not, you have a subscription service. You just come home from a long day's work, right? You want to take a shower. You want to eat dinner with your family if you have a family, or if you're by yourself, you just want to grab a pizza or something, et cetera, et cetera. You be like, man, it's been a long day at work. I just want to come home, take a shower, get something to eat, get back on the couch, pick up the controller and play video games. Stop, man. Streaming is coming, man. It's coming. Period. So, developers and publishers, what developers are going to be like, yo, well, no one is really buying physical media anymore. You know, the physical disc, you know, and there's a lot of collectors out there, you know, that like the physical disc, you know, no one's really doing that. Because think about it, guys. You guys remember, what's the publisher name? Let's just say Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2, there's no physical disc. It's only digital, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Unless they change something, it's only digital. And one of the reasons why they're going digital is because they want to try to keep the pricing at $60. I think they wanted to do $60. They want to try to, you know, stay away from that $70 price tag. But correct me if I'm wrong. So it's coming. It's coming, guys. So it's just a matter of time. And that's and anyone should be able to see that, because think about it. Microsoft has already admitted defeat, right? So they're pushing more to that streaming side, but they're going to keep the consoles coming. They're going to keep the consoles coming because they don't want to give up the console. You can't give up the console just yet, because you have to have something to fall back on if that infrastructure does not come into play like you are projecting, right? That you're seeing through that scope of yours. Like, hey, we're gonna work both, right? And you know, because if somehow, some way the internet just gets shut down, what are you gonna do, right? Hopefully we don't get hit with an EMP. Or our internet structure just somehow happen to collapse, or that would be crazy. I know from the political side, they're wanting to invest in that, you know, this internet infrastructure to try to have internet, adequate internet in every household here in America. Okay, so that's good. That's good if you can make that happen. I don't see why we can't make that happen in this country. But we're just gonna have to wait and see, man. It's digital only. Maybe I'm getting my words crossed. I mean, you guys call me out, man. Call me out if I'm getting my words crossed. So we're just hanging out right now. We're just hanging out, having a discussion around this. So, but you know, it's digital right now, but Game Pass is just, it's huge, man. It's huge, and they're gonna have to keep it going. They have no other choice around that. You can't backtrack on day and date in Game Pass. Excluding exceptions like utility companies, you must allow consumers a choice on where to spend their money. Yes. I mean, I mean, you can't say it any better than that. I don't. So that's why I can't afford you, man. I can't afford you, so I'm gonna have to come up with a contract to get you on the team. To get you and all you guys, man, all you guys on the team, man. I mean, we got this. Because you guys understand, man. And I'm pretty sure there's other guys and gals out there that's probably watching. If you're watching, I'm pretty sure you understand if you have your thoughts and opinions around this whole thing. Sony doing the same with Spider-Man 2 digital edition extras, but you need to get the digital console. Is that what you're saying, D-Nice? So they're doing the same thing with Alan Wake is doing. Um, Not Alan Wake is doing, but what they're doing with Alan Wake too. This is why many mergers and acquisitions get squashed in court. Companies can't just buy their competition to be the only remaining player. Look, well, let me ask you guys this question. Okay, well, let's start here. Does Microsoft has more first-party studios than Sony? Yes or no? Does Microsoft has more first-party studios than Sony SIE? Yeah. If you're watching and you new, man, come on in the chat. Come on, be a part of the discussion, man. Um, it's all respect here. It's all love. You know, um, everyone has their opinions on the matter, and it's good to talk about it. You know, again, we can all agree to disagree. I respect where everybody stands. With the subject matters at hand. But it's always good to get it from a different perspective. To look, because you may know something that I don't know. You may look at it through a different lens that I don't know. And also, we can again always agree to disagree on things, as long as we're all respectful with it. At the end of the day, some people just like drama, and I guess that's okay in their world. If they like the drama and wants to be around or be a part of that, then that's totally fine. I really don't want no parts of it because it doesn't benefit me at all. Or I can go that route and then be controversial and have more people in the stream and go that way. But then I wouldn't be authentic. I try to be authentic as best I can. Yep, you need to get the digital games and get the extra content. Oh, wow. Interesting. See, what are we going to wake up to tomorrow? What are we going to wake up to tomorrow? It's always something new. It's ever changing, man. It's ever changing, and it's always something to talk about, right? They're putting it out there. They're giving people something to talk about. They're keeping it going, man. The division, the discussions. It's great content, man. It's good content for these content creators to come out and be like, hey, let's talk about this. This is what they're doing with Spider-Man. Yes, they do, but their first party is yet make it stand. I disagree on the notion that Microsoft buying competition. What is that? Okay, so since I asked the question, does Microsoft has more first party studios than Sony? Then what is the problem with competing in that space when it comes to exclusivity? Right? Something is not right there. Something is wrong. Let's say if I have PE, you are Microsoft, I am Sony. You have more first party studios than I do. My expectation is, since I'm in this competitive space with you, that, hey, I don't know, right? I don't know what I don't know. But at the same time, I have to keep moving with what I have going on, right? Because I don't know what PE is going to show tomorrow. I don't know what PE is going to show next week, right? He may come out with a game that's going to blow everybody away. Just imagine if there was a game coming out from every Microsoft first party studio. Let's say if you had 30 studios and I had 20. I'm just throwing numbers out there, right? And every one of your first party studios, it has shown a game that's, whoo, trust me, I have to compete. I have to figure something out here, right? Because now you have more gamers, paying more attention to you because those games you were showing are just good. They're good. It's good. So I have to up my game somehow. I have to figure it out. Now, when it comes to buying, and this goes back to what Thinker has said too, you buying your way to the top, or you trying to buy your way to the top. What benefits are there from doing that, for taking that approach? Right? Yes, you have these publishers out there. They have iconic games, IPs like Sega, right? I did read about the whole Sega deal. Sega, buying Sega. Then you have to maintain that. You can't just buy Sega just because they have Sonic the Hedgehog and then think that's going to be the do all say all, right? They have Sega, Sonic. Let that be the deciding factor for gamers to come over to Xbox. No, you have to put out games. You have to put out games for it to remain relevant, right? You have to put out games to remain. Don't just buy up. I don't understand the buying approach, especially when you have more first party studios than than Sony has. It's almost like, and we're gonna get into that statement made by what's his name, Satala? I don't know his name. Fatala, whatever his name is. You have more first party studios than Sony. What is the problem when it comes to exclusivity with your exclusive titles? And competing against Sony on that level, I don't get that, right? But buying up other publishers makes only makes sense to a certain extent. But if you just want to buy up everybody, if that's your mindset, because you feel like that you can't compete with your competition, it just doesn't make sense. Because now you have to stand on that. So once you get those publishers under your wing, with some of the most iconic classic IPs ever made, right? That gamers love. You have to produce. This whole we give our studios the creative space to do what they want to do. Something is wrong with that statement. To me, there's something wrong with that, because there's nothing really showing up. You have games coming out, yes, but when, right? Because since the last Microsoft showcase, we have 2024. Majority of those games are coming out in 2020, supposedly are coming out 2024. There's no release dates for those games. And there's a lot of gamers out there that's, some diehards out there that are, advocating for that. They're strong in where they stand. And that's okay. That is okay. By competition, let me go back. Yes, so what is that? PE, did you show up at the board at the board meeting? Because somebody needs to sit down and say, wait a minute, guys, we need to regroup. I heard the little speech that Sarah Bond gave while her and the team was standing up on stage. It's almost like they're asking for you guys to forgive them. They keep saying the same thing over and over. You said the same thing that Phil Spencer said. Or you saying the same thing that Matt Booty said. Yes, We had a hard time. We had a not so good year. Blah blah blah. No one wants to hear. I don't think, unless you're a diehard, I don't think others would want to hear that anymore. I want to play the games that you announce. Okay. But if you keep coming out saying the same thing over and over and over again, yes, we know that. We know that already. Phil Spencer has said it. We know that. Stop giving us the same old bull crap as far as we want to get these games. We want you guys to play these games. Yes, we want to play this game. You said that already. He said that already. When are the games coming out so that we can play these games? Here I am. That's just my thoughts on it, man. So this whole buying thing, I just don't agree to it. To a certain extent. I mean, acquisitions happen all the time. It's just the way Microsoft is approaching this, or their plan to approach was to buy said, studios, et cetera, because they felt like they couldn't compete with Sony. I don't know. D Nice. Yup, I just got tired of that Xbox and Sony fanboy stuff. Too much drama. Hey, you know what? It is what it is. It's not like it's an absent piece. Well, we should get rid of that because it does. It has a play in this whole thing. If I'm making sense, because again, people like drama. People like to get in. They like to have conversations. Like to go on and on and on and on and spend their energy on back and forth against the other side. Like, yeah, Sony sucks. Microsoft sucks. Okay, y'all have no games. Well, you don't have no games. So it's back and forth about the same thing. Microsoft has no games. Sony has no games. Okay. All right. I mean, if you guys want to have that back and forth stuff, Xbox is trash. Sony is trash. You haven't even played the games. You don't even have a PlayStation console, or you don't even have an Xbox console. I just don't get that. I don't get it. I think it's interesting and funny at the same time. The Thinker says, example of an antitrust suit. Automakers use a specific battery that's manufactured by someone else. Correct. Then one of those automakers try to buy the battery company. They can then exclude the battery for other automakers. And the Thinker, where you work right now, I'm not going to put that out there, but where you work right now, you have a clear understanding. It's just that simple, guys. It's just that simple. But I guarantee you, some people will come back and crucify you by your statement, which it makes perfect sense. And that's one thing that I don't get either. So, but if the battery was developed in-house, there is no issue. Exactly. If it's your own, no issue. No, none whatsoever. It's mine. I can do whatever I want with it. PE says, yeah, but it's impossible to buy your way to the top. Do people know it comes with pros and cons? The gaming market is vicious and candy for you to buy your way to the top. Unless, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that there's no pros. That's why I said buying other publishers, to a certain extent, right? I mean, like I said, acquisition, or like it was stated, acquisitions happen all the time. You want to remain competitive in that market space, right? Sony buys studios, Microsoft buys studios. But when you have this mindset already there, you admitting defeat, right? You're third place in the console market, as they state, right? Then what other option do we have? So it's almost like, and we can agree to disagree, it's almost like you're undermining your first party studios. If you have the studios, I don't understand where the management part is there a failing there on the management part? Because there's something wrong with that picture. I don't know what it is, guys. Because, man, if I have X amount of first party studios, dude, I'm gonna be there. It's all hands on deck. How about that? All hands on deck. Period. If I want to beat Sony in this space, it's all hands on deck. Not just because I have a bunch of money, I'm just gonna buy up publishers because I feel a certain way, the way Sony is inking deals with third-party publishers. I'm just gonna go out and buy the whole publisher so that those games can come to Xbox. If you're inking deals with third-party publishers to have their games in Game Pass day and date, what is the problem? Guys, help me out. What's the problem? So if Sony can go out and ink deals with third-party publishers, you can do the same. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Well, money is a huge factor in this case, but it's how you ink those deals. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can't, no, not even a diehard fanboy or fangirl can tell me that I'm wrong in that. That Xbox can go out and make deals with these third-party publishers. Something's wrong. Maybe they just don't have the people who can do it. I don't know. I just don't get it. So buying your way to the top, good luck. Because what's to say that Microsoft does buy up all these studios and they still don't end up at the top? So you just bought Sega, you just bought Square Enix. Okay? Now, it's what you do after that. Not to say Microsoft won't be at the top if they buy up all these studios. I'm gonna take a step back here. But you have to make sure that what you have done makes sense. It has to make sense. Because that's all. Well, let me ask you guys this question. Do you guys think if Microsoft was to, let's say if they did buy up a lot more studios, right? Do you think that would be kind of like monopolizing the gaming industry? Yes or no? So if Microsoft was to go out and just buy up publishers, let's say like 10 publishers, would you guys think that will be kind of monopolizing the gaming industry in a way? The thinker said it all depends on market share of the product and service. Going back to the battery example, antitrust suit if battery was used in more than 50% of all cars. No antitrust if battery is only used in 10% of the cars. Yes. PE says you're wrong, P. Tomb Raider was exclusive for 3 to 6 months because of backlash. Tomb Raider. I don't know the context around that one. What happened? What happened with Tomb Raider? So Tomb Raider was exclusive to PlayStation for 6 months. Is that what you're referring to? Now, okay, so let's say if that's the case. So let's say if Tomb Raider was exclusive, or actually that would be a time exclusive, right? So if Tomb Raider was time exclusive to PlayStation for 6 months, then what would be the issue with that? because you have to remember something. So if I'm with a third party exclusive and we're at the table and we are entering into contract with one of their IPs, and I say, PE, I want Final Fantasy exclusive to the PlayStation platform or a Microsoft platform. It doesn't matter which platform. So let's say if it's Microsoft, if I want Final Fantasy, let's say 17 exclusive to the Microsoft PC platform for 6 months, is that okay? Would you agree to that? Because I like putting the shoe on the other foot. Okay, let's just take Sony out the picture right now. Right? Let's move Sony to the side for a second. If you're Microsoft and I'm Square Enix, right? And we're sitting at the table and you say, hey, we're going to give you this, and this, but we would like to have Final Fantasy 17 exclusive to the Microsoft PC platforms for 6 months. Do you think it would change? Do you think Sony would come back and say, wait, whoa, what's going on here? The thinker said it all depends. Oh, yeah, I think we got to that one. I think I went back up here. I think it says, first case, the automaker cannot buy the battery company because the majority of their competition use it. That's correct. Second case, they can buy it because so few use it. This is what the FTC is looking at with the Activision deal. It all comes down to the market share. The market share now, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure Microsoft has a huge market share when it comes to cloud. Xbox exclusive to Tomb Raider, and that to the point that Microsoft can also do the same thing. Yes. Right. So am I wrong by did I make a statement that was wrong? Let me know, because I want to make sure that we revisit that, and I want to make sure that I am clear on what I'm trying to say here. But if I'm wrong, let me know. Now, thank you for making that statement, PE. It says Microsoft saw they couldn't compete like that. The devs always demand from them. If you are a developer, PE, and I'm Microsoft, and I put forth a contract in front of you, you're going to read that contract, right? Now, mind you, this is your game. These are your games, right? These are your game. This is your blood, sweat, and tear. This is your baby. These are your babies, right? And I come to you and I say, hey, man, here it is. Here's my offer. Here's our offer to you. What are you going to do? What will be your first step in this process, right? What would be your first step? What would you do? And then we're going to come back. Not market share of Microsoft, but of Activision. Oh, okay. Yep. The Call of Duty franchise alone is a yes. Dude. Oh my goodness. Call of Duty by itself is insane. It's oh my goodness, it's insane how much money that game makes. And he says this is the antitrust issue. Got you. Now, would others understand why Sony is going after Microsoft and Activision on that Call of Duty, because I don't think there's really any other game that's in that lineup that produces the way Call of Duty does. Scalebound was a sabotage from the Japanese devs. What happened with Scalebound? Oh, let me go back up. He says more money. More money. Are you talking about more money and you're wanting more money? As far as us making a deal to have your games in Game Pass? Or it's just exclusive to the Xbox console and PC. Is that what you is that your first step? You're gonna ask for more money? Hey, D Nice, if you're still here in the chat, man, let me know what's new out there, man. We're catching up, man. And I appreciate you guys, sticking around, catching me up with some of this stuff and, sharing your thoughts and opinions on what's going on. I know I'm not as exciting as, some of the other content creators out there, streamers out there, like the MBGs and, the Marlins and, et cetera, et cetera. So Spawn Wave and all those guys. But, we doing what we doing over here, man. And I don't know, maybe I need to make faces and jump around a little bit and get excited. But it takes a lot for me to get excited about anything, especially, when it comes to gaming. Now, if there's something that's going to blow my mind and like something new, we need something new, man, something exciting, something to be excited about. Then you'll probably see me do a couple of cartwheels, et cetera, et cetera. Or, if there's something out there that just doesn't make sense. So, the statement that was made in regard to exclusivity, exclusives, unquote. If it was up to me, I'm not going to look for it. If it's up to me, I would get rid of exclusives. And I think what was stated, unquote, was that Microsoft was kind of forced to do exclusives. And Sony, defines the exclusive, piece of it. What did you guys think about that statement? Because to me, it seemed like you're blaming the competition because of exclusives. Because if we want to talk about exclusive, we can go back to Nintendo days. Nintendo, Sega. We can go way back when. And Sony was in the gaming market before Microsoft. And Microsoft came into the gaming space, and I'm pretty sure they had their exclusives, right? I mean, Halo. So I don't understand why would you make such a statement. But it was interesting. I mean, the devs demand more money from Xbox to exclusive or in-house. Look. Check this out. The Thinker, you're Sony. PE, you're Microsoft. I am a developer. Okay? PE, you're gonna give me a contract. You're gonna present a contract to me. Okay? Now, Sony, the Thinker, the Sony. I have to put you guys on the spot. I love both you guys. is going to present me with a contract. Now, Microsoft has, you have your incentives. Sony has their incentives. So I'm sitting down with my peeps, right? I'm having a conversation. No, I'm sorry. As far as what I meant was as far as the console piece of it, the console piece as far as when it comes to the gaming market. Yeah, I know Microsoft as far as gaming on PC and all that. Yes, Microsoft has been there ever since. But I was referring to console, so let me be clear on that. So sorry about that. But so if Sony deal looks better than Microsoft deal, I'm gonna come back to UPE. Not to be not to disclose anything from Sony, right? But I'm gonna say, I was offered a better deal. I was offered a better. Now I could come back and say, well, Sony offered me this, or vice versa. I can come from Microsoft and say, Sony, well, Microsoft offered me this. I'm going to go with the best offer, period. It's like like I said, it's like going to a car dealership and like, hey, well, right down the street, they offered me this. Even though it's different, both companies are in the gaming market, right? And they do business a little different. But you have to give me something to work with. Negotiate with me, talk to me, like, look, Sony's offered me this, and this, which is going to pay my people. My people has to eat. My people have a livelihood. My people wants to go on. My people want to travel, spend time with their families. They put their heart and souls in these games, right? Am I not making sense here? So if the Microsoft deal is better than the Sony deal, I'm going to go with the Microsoft deal. Because if Sony's not offering me any more than what they have provided to me or offered me, I'm not going to take the deal. I'm going to go with Microsoft, and vice versa. That's how I look at the world today. I don't know if others out there, you have a different perspective, different opinion on it, but I'm going to go with the better deal. So if Microsoft offers me a better deal, and which includes a time exclusive of 6 months of my game, then I'm going to go with that deal. Period. It's better. Now, if you want my game exclusive to your platform only, now there's a difference between time exclusive and exclusive. We all know that. If you want my game exclusive to your platform, dude, of course, man, it's got to be money. Money is always a part of the equation. It's always going to be. Right? Am I wrong? Let me know. There's demand more money from Xbox to exclusive or in-house development. Crytek and Insomniac was a lesson learned. Hey, look, I don't know what else to say. When you have an opportunity to buy up a publisher and you turn it down, and then your competitor purchased that publisher and has just nothing but success, I don't know what to tell you. You have the same opportunities, right? Am I wrong? I appreciate you guys, though. I really do. Hanging out with your boy on this Saturday, and PE. I think you're early. What time is it there? Is it like 5 o'clock in the evening? D Nice, I hope you're still in the stream. Loco, hope you're still watching. And anybody watching, if you think that, I'm not making sense here, or if you agree or don't agree with what I'm saying, let me know. Let me know, man. It feels good to be back. I love it. I love having these types of conversations, man. Okay. He says the better deal comes with leverage as the market leader. Oh, well, yeah. Okay, let me ask you this. If Sony comes to you with the same deal as Microsoft, but Sony tells you it's best to choose because you can reach many globally. Got you. Now we're getting somewhere here. And I want to say thank you for reminding me, because Microsoft is not really big on a global scale. Okay, that makes sense. So since Sony is pretty much has that giant statue in the front yard, it makes sense. So, but that does not take away from what another company can also do. It goes back to what I was saying earlier, was that do you not have the team that can actually give Microsoft a push to be able to compete on a global scale? Yeah, man. I mean, once, like I said, once we reach 500 subscribers, actually, I think I can go into settings and change that. I'm gonna go into settings and change that. So, yeah, I know it sucks, to have to type all this stuff in the chat. But we need to hook up. So we don't have to do all that. But I can go into the settings and I'm just gonna turn on unlimited. So you guys can type more. I know that sucks. But yes, as the market leader, you do have a huge advantage. Especially on a global scale. So you can probably offer more, but at the same time, again, Microsoft still has that opportunity. They can still reach out, right? They can still reach out. They can still branch out. They can still, and like a lot of people says, Microsoft is $1 trillion company. I don't know if they have. I'm not saying that Microsoft doesn't have the team. Okay, I'm just saying there's something there. There's something there why Microsoft cannot reach out, because again, it goes back to, if that's their mindset of buying up all these publishers so that they can compete against Sony, then if that's their answer, because they cannot push out on a global scale, then you know, then you got to do what you got to do, right? Does that make sense? So, but I want to answer your question. If Sony comes to you with the same deal as Microsoft, but Sony tells you it's best to choose, I'm going to assume you're saying that Sony is the best to choose because you can reach out to many globally. I would have to choose the Sony deal. I would have to choose the Sony deal because it makes business sense. It makes sense. Because if Microsoft doesn't have that global appeal and Sony does, of course I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna say Sony. That just, to me, that just makes sense. Tomb Raider Xbox paid more, but they just couldn't convince CD to have 1 year. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. You have to be able to you have to be able to negotiate. You're a $1 trillion company. If you're talking about buying up every publisher, there's got to be a way that you can dish out some more incentives, some way, somehow, to convince that publisher, like, hey, all right, we're gonna give you this. We're offer this, and this. Okay. So now you're banking on that. You're banking on that deal to succeed if you sign the deal, right? Yes, yes, yes. Sony knows it. Absolutely. They know that. Sony knows that. Sony knows it. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Hmm. So, so what do you think about who was it? Well, let me ask you this question. Now, mind you, I have not listened to, I have not read the entire, manuscripts of, if there's any, for the FTC and Microsoft hearings. I don't know if you guys have kept up with it, but do you guys believe, in your honest opinion, that the ABK deal is going to go through? And what will it be based on? And you guys can ask me the same question. So I just wanted to ask you guys first, based on what has transpired throughout the hearings. I think from what I read that it's over now. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks until we get something definitive, a definitive answer. What this is going to in that conclusion, if it's going to go through or not. But what do you guys think? Do you think the ABK deal is going to go through? It's going to get approved? And based on what? And correct me if I'm wrong. Um, isn't Tomb Raider now owned by Amazon or somebody else? Man, some of these games just look amazing, man. Oh, yes, yes. So, I did hear about Assassin's Creed Black Flag is getting a remake. I don't understand why would they do a remake of that game. I thought it was great. That's just my thought on that. And what I do is I end it with that final question. Do you guys think that the ABK deal is going to go through or be approved? And the thinker, if you're still here, man, um, where are you in Final Fantasy 16? Are you just getting past that battle that you mentioned earlier, or have you played more of it? All right, PE says in other jurisdictions, yes, but the FTC and the CMA, I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't think the CMA is going to change their mind unless something just magically happens and then boom, and CMA is like, all right, guys, here it is. Because I'm going to tell you right now. This is going to set a precedence. It's going to set a precedence. Okay? If the ABK deal goes through, right? Microsoft is going to go, they might go on a buying spree. They might go on a buying spree and they may just go get Sega. Hey, we got Bethesda and ZeniMax, right? We got Activision Blizzard King, right? Now we're going to go get Sega. Because if that mindset is still there, where if they're thinking that Sony is the reason why that these games are not coming to Xbox, in which I don't see them doing anything wrong, they're inking deals, right? That's just my thought. They're gonna go on a buying spree. ABK deal done. Sega next. If they go after Sega. Now, if this ABK deal goes through, Sony may be in a little bit of trouble. I'm just gonna go out and say that. I don't care what Jim Ryan says that Sony's gonna be okay as far as their PlayStation segment. Sony's gonna be in trouble. They're gonna be in trouble. Because if this was an approach way back when to spin Sony out of business, it seems like that's what Microsoft is doing now. They look back and they saw what Matt Booty or whoever made that statement was like, well, we can't compete. Why don't we just use that strategy and spin Sony out of business? ABK deal goes through. Game on. I don't know what else to tell you. It's game on. And then what's to say they go buy Warner Brothers? What's to say they go buy was it Rocksteady? What's to say they go buy Ubisoft or EA? Right? It's game now. Because if they buy up all these publishers, Sony is pretty much done. Because Microsoft can do whatever with those IPs. I mean, well, they have control. They will have complete control. So, I don't know. Just a little past the Titan fight. Yes, I am. I think I think I think I'm just a little past the Titan fight too. I don't think I've gotten any further. Um, I don't remember. Man, it's been a whole week, but I think I'm just a little past that. PE says I totally agree. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. ABK goes through. Deal goes through. I don't know what to tell you, Sony. I don't, because I mean, you can't really come back at them, right? You can't really come back and say, um, let's say if Microsoft goes after Sega, right? If the ABK deal goes through, you can't really come after them and say, hey, wait a minute now. You're trying to monopolize the gaming industry. Come on, dude. We just brought Bethesda and ZeniMax. The ABK deal. We went through this whole shenanigans with the ABK deal. It went through. We're going out to Sega next, and then Square. If they can purchase Square, I don't know. Good luck with that one though. But let's say if they end up getting Sega, right, and then they end up making a deal with Square. Sony, I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you. Sony's gonna have to give them their whole. So I'm not saying Sony's not rich. I'm pretty sure they got lots of money. Come on, Sony has lots of money. It's just the way that they're moving their money around to make sure that they have the quality product to put out there on the market, right? Especially in the PlayStation segment. So, and they wants to continue that quality, because when you have games like Horizon Forbidden West or The Last of Us that cost like $2 to $3 million to make, I'm just throwing it out there, they're going to want to maintain that quality. That's a lot of money to make those games, right? So is Sony going to pull back on quality to compete with Microsoft now? Because if they buy up all these publishers, Sony is not going to have, they're not going to be able to do anything. They're going to have to go to Microsoft. Am I right? They're going to have to go to Microsoft, man. Oh, snap. Microsoft, we need Final Fantasy back. And then Microsoft going to come out and like, yo, well, I give you a 10-year deal. Here's 10 years. Take it or leave it. Right? I may be wrong. Let me know. Google Eyes, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. How was the trip? The trip was great. The trip was fun. We had a great time. Had a great time. It's good to see you, brother. How you feeling? Hope you and family are doing well. And we're just catching up, man. Just catching up. Whew. But PE, I appreciate your answer on that, man. But we'll see. We'll see, man. We will see. We will see what happens in a few weeks, right? And I think there's a deadline. Is there a deadline for this Activision Blizzard deal? Is it like in July? So that means if the deal doesn't go through, Microsoft will have to pay. They would either have to renegotiate, or they will have to pay Activision $3 billion. Was it $3 billion? Because I said this in many streams ago that when you make such a deal like this, there has to be some clauses within those deals that protects you, just in case if that deal doesn't go through. Turns out I was right. So if the deal does not go through, or does not, let's say if the decision is made, it's not made before that final date for the deal to happen, Microsoft will have to come back to the table to renegotiate that deal. Or Activision can say, you know what, forget it. We're walking away from the deal. We want our $3 billion. I think it was in July or sometime in July. Yeah, okay. Apart from that, had results back and terminal, but I don't want to go on about it. That's okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't have to discuss that. I just wanted to ask how you and the family are doing. So yeah, you don't have to put that there. But I will definitely keep you and your family in my prayers. Definitely keep you and your family in my prayers. And and I'll talk with you offline. I'll talk with you offline. But for those who are watching, and you missed the actual discussion, on some of the topics, we talked about, FTC and Microsoft, the hearing come to a closure. Do you guys think, the ABK deal is going to go through? Nah, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything, man. Unless you got disconnected. If you did get disconnected, then you can just hit rewind. I didn't talk about too much. I did touch up on a statement that you made. In other jurisdictions, yes, but the FTC and the CMA, you didn't know. So pretty much what I said around that was that, I don't think the CMA is going to change their mind, unless something just magically happens and they say, okay, you're good to go. As far as the FTC, I don't know. We're all waiting on that, right? So, what are we gonna wake up to tomorrow? You missed. Yes. Thank you, The Thinker. So if anyone wants to, I don't like clowns. I don't like clowns, man. I don't like clowns. So thank you for exposing my fear to everyone. The Thinker, I really appreciate that. I will get you back. Okay. I will get you back, and I don't like clowns, man. I don't like clowns. I will fight a clown. I don't care how big the clown is. I don't care how scary the clown is. If it was to pop up. So you might as well just, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if I shared this story with you guys, but I'm going to share this with you guys. So The Thinker, I don't know if you was in the office that day, but I think you were, but you weren't in that area. So some of the guys decided to play a prank on me. And they know I don't like clowns. So what they did was they put red balloons in desk drawers. And it was a bad prank. It was just totally bad. They missed the mark. It was just horrible. So one of the guys had me go over to the safe and open the safe. So when I opened the safe, there was a red balloon. But mind you, the red balloon did not float up in the sky. So I was like, yo, what is this? Y'all playing games, right? But you know what? I'm gonna rewind. I'm gonna do a 180. I don't know if you guys saw there was a YouTube channel where a guy would come into some of the Call of Duty streams, and they would do the Pennywise expression. So I'm good at doing the Pennywise expression. So what I did was I called one of the managers in the office. I called one of the managers in the office, and I was doing the Pennywise expression, and it threw him for a loop, right? So as I walked out one of the office, the manager comes out the office, and he was like, "Hey guys, have you guys been getting strange phone calls?" Some guy was like, saying that he was Pennywise. Now, mind you, this manager likes ghost stories. He likes to go and visit like haunted places. So he's big on that. So we had conversations around that. So long story short, it was funny. It was hilarious. So I admitted to it. I was like, you know what? Let me calm him down, because he was still distraught by it. So I went in. I was like, yo, et cetera, like, yo, it's me, blah, blah, blah. And then we laughed around it, because we had that relationship at the time, when we was talking about, ghosts and stuff like that. So he was like, I got you. So, but anyways, to get back on the story. So they put a balloon in the safe. The red balloon did not rise up. So I was like, man, you guys need to stop playing. So I went over to one of the desk to sit down, and he was like, I think one of the guys was like, could you get me something out of the drawer? So I opened up the drawer, and there was another red balloon, but it didn't float. So I'm like, guys, you guys are playing around. Stop playing, dude. You guys know I don't like clowns, right? I don't like clowns. Now here's the big one. Okay? The thinker decides to go and do his little thing, right? So mind you, I'm not paying attention at whatsoever. I'm not paying any attention at all. So I get in my car to go home. And you have like that peripheral, you're looking around, right? You're paying attention to the road. For some reason, I did not. I mean, I'm on my way home. Long story short, I'm having people look at me in my car out the driver's side. I mean, just looking at me, right? And I'm like, what in the world's going on? So I happen to look to my right, and there's a Pennywise picture on my window, passenger side window. Freaked me out. Okay? Freaked me out completely. Don't ask me why I never looked to the right, etc., etc. You use your mirrors to look and see if oncoming cars coming, but the way I was driving, it was just a straight shot, right? One paying no attention. So I didn't know who did it, right? I did not know who did it. So I'm like, yo, why is there a Pennywise freaking picture on my freaking window, man? I was freaking out. I was like, yo, this is not cool. This is not cool. So I stopped. I pulled it off. I was like, yo, I'm going to find out who did this. And find out who did it. And it was the thinker. I'm like, thank you, man. I really appreciate that, because my heart was beating like 100 miles an hour. I was like, yo, this is not cool, man. I'm telling you, do not come at me, man. So if any of you guys in here, yes, I don't like clowns. Don't come at me with no clown crap. Now, watching clowns on TV, the movie It, yeah, I've seen that like 100 times. But personally, up front, Ronald McDonald, no. Anybody, because you guys remember, you guys remember that one Halloween, right? They was announcing on the news that these clowns were, because I got a lot of, I don't know about you, if it was up north, but we did get a lot of that, down south too, because my brother would call me up and like, dude, man, you hear about these clowns? And there was some in Maryland too. You got people dressing up like clowns, standing on the side of the road, running down the road, running through parking lots, and, hanging out at clubs and stuff. I was like, man, yeah, y'all are crazy. That was crazy. I was like, man, I am staying in my house. I will look at this, man. Paranormal tales, stuff like this, I can watch. You know, I don't go looking for ghosts and stuff like that. Again, I had my experiences. Um, Dude, yes. If you was here to see DC, what's up, man? What's up? If you was here to see my experience, it was a good thing that I was at a stoplight though. I wasn't driving. I was at a stoplight when someone pointed it out. And I'm like, I don't know if they was on the right side of me at first, and then they pulled up to the left side of me. And I was wondering, I was like, dude, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And me, you know, I had to make sure my door was locked, my window was up. I didn't know this person. And the guy was pointing, then I looked over it. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Heart Man, that was crazy. And I didn't have any nightmares or anything like that. It was good. Let's say the thinker, that was a better prank than what the other team did. Because I mean, that would have freaked me out if the balloons were just floated up in the air. I was like, come on, guys. You guys suck, man. But that worked. That one worked. Yeah, he did it, man. He did it. So don't think you guys can come up with anything and try to mess with me on that. Cause I'm telling you, man, I'll fight a clown. You stay, you keep your distance. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna warn you, man. Hey, I don't like clowns. The wifey knows I don't like clowns. Kids know I don't like clowns. The thinker now, you know, disclose my fear, one of my fears. The trip was great, man. We had a great time out in Vegas. We had a wonderful time. I have lots of pictures and lots of videos. I did post some out on Twitter. We got a lot of video footage. I made sure to do that. Then we went out to the Grand Canyon. That was good. That was nice to be able to see one of those wonders of the world. Then we went out to, well, we didn't go out to the actual location, but we went out to Rachel, Nevada, where just a mile down the street, where we missed it. Area 51. My son wanted to go out there and take a photo, but we didn't get the opportunity because the directions that we received were wrong. So we ended up coming back to Vegas. So, but we did get some merch. I think my son picked up a T-shirt or two. I picked up an Area 51 mag. I think my son also picked up a Area 51 jacket, and we got some other stuff. So it was a great time. Have you got a PO box? Cause I'm gonna send you a clown. No, you're not. Google eyes. No, you're not. I don't have a PO box. Nope. I'm not even gonna give you my address, man. You're not sending. Why would you send me a clown outfit? You don't need to send me a clown outfit. You good? I am good, man. My fear is eating Taco Bell and winning out. He says eating Taco Bell and running out of toilet paper and Drano. Dang it, Taco Bell hit you like that? Man, what hits me like that? I don't think I have any food that really hits me like that. That's crazy. Man, dude, quick story. So we went to Rachel. So we went to the what was it? Let me see. We went to the south side where Area 51 was. So when we walked into the actual store, they told us, they was like, no, you got to go up north, dude. You're way off. So it was a 3-hour trip, and I wasn't gonna take that trip. I was like, nah, guys, we have enough alien footage. What we see here in the store and the actual store. We took some pictures as well with the little alien statues that was outside the store. but my son wanted to go. He was like, Dad, I really want to go. I'll pay for gas. Let's just go. So I was like, all right, because it's a one in a lifetime experience, right? And if we end up getting abducted by aliens, you guys will see it on social media. If we come up missing, like, man, we haven't heard anything from Gaming and Reactions and his family. Have they made it back? We've probably been abducted by aliens or the government, right? So I was like, okay, let's go ahead on out there. So it was a 3-hour trip, I think maybe 3.5-hour trip. We get to Rachel's. My wife goes into the store because they were doing construction along the main road. She goes in the store. She asks for directions because they wanted to take a picture by the fence. And the lady told her that, well, you have to make a right here, go out 10 miles, and then you'll make a right. So I was like, no, that's not true. That's not right. So she went and asked the lady again, came back with the same directions. And I was like, maybe, I'm thinking in my head, maybe my wife didn't hear the directions correctly. So we end up going back 10 miles, going through the construction area, and we don't have no signal whatsoever. So we had to go maybe at least 20 to 30 miles to get a signal. And then once we got the signal, I was like, look up YouTube and look up a video and see where it is, right? Come to find out, Area 51 was only a mile back. It wasn't 10 miles back. It was a mile back. And once you cut down the dirt road, it's almost like 10 miles to the actual back gate of where it is. So everybody was just not happy. At that point, we were like, no, I don't think this car is going to make it. It's going to overheat. And we need to get back to civilization because, guys, there is nothing out there. Nothing but mountainous areas and plains. There are signs out there where, you have your little aliens, graffiti and stuff like that. So I was not about to turn around because there's no gas stations for like miles. So I was like, we have a half tank right now. We need to get back, to civilization. So we were not able to go out and take pictures at the fence location. So maybe another time, but they were excited about that, but we didn't get the opportunity. The weather was insane. Dude, I'm talking about 99, 100 degrees, 102 degrees, 104 degrees. It would just change in random spots because it was just nothing there, man. Just random spot. It was just like straight drive. Sometimes you have a few curves. But dude, it's just nothing. Mind Freak. Yes. I've never seen a magic show up close and personal like the one that I saw at Planet Hollywood in Vegas. I've never seen it, dude. It was just there was one magic trick where there was one lady. He pulled some ladies up on stage. This is Chris Angel. He pulled some ladies up on stage. Shout out to Chris Angel again. That was awesome. He pulled 4 ladies out the crowd on stage. And one of the ladies had a fear of spiders. Okay. Now, I don't know if she was part of the script or she seemed like a normal lady. He just pulled her out of the crowd. And he had her type in her fear in the iPad, right? And she announced it to the crowd. She was like, yes, I have a fear of spiders. And it was like she really didn't want to say it. And she was pretty much telling Chris Angel, please don't do this. Don't do this. Because it seems so freaking legit, right? Long story short, he clicked on a video on the iPad of a spider. He put the iPad on the table. I think he banged on the table or he did something, and then he lifted up the iPad and the actual tarantula that was shown on the iPad was on the freaking table. And everybody was like, dude, those ladies got up and ran. It was, I don't know if they were part of the script, man. It was very convincing. Somehow the same spider that was on the iPad came out on the actual table. I was like, this is some devil stuff. I don't know what else to tell you. And then when he did his levitation act, here's what I wanted Criss Angel to do. I wanted him to levitate above the crowd. So that way we can tell that, yo, there's no strings, there's no nothing. But it was so convincing while he was on stage. The man was standing on top of a ladder. Okay? No strings, no ropes, no nothing, unless there was something that was projecting the rope or strings where we couldn't see it. My man walked sideways down a ladder. He walked sideways down. We couldn't record. It was strict policy. You couldn't record nothing at all. However, everything was being recorded by their cameras, okay, because it was a live show. It was an actual live show. And he walked sideways down the ladder, and then that man started walking in the air. You could not tell there was any strings attached to him. My man did backflips in the air, got back on the ladder, went and they moved the ladder. They moved the ladder. The guy was just floating in the freaking air. And we was like, yo, this is insane. I don't know how he did it, but it was very, very convincing. So if there's magicians out there that can actually do stuff like this, I'm sorry, man. That's got to be some. I don't know, man. That's got to be some type of magic that we don't know about. But that was, mind freak, yes, because my mind was freaked crazy. And a lot of people were like, yo, this is crazy. Like, dude, how you do? Oh, he also did the, his first trick was he did the razor. He had some razors, right? I think he said he did the trick on the streets when he was, starting out or whatever. So my man had razors, man, and he was cutting the papers, right? Just to let everybody know how sharp they was. And he took the razors and he put each razor in his mouth. He swallowed I think it was like maybe 4 to 6 razors, right? And he took a camera and he put it down his throat. And it was projected on the screen that all the razors were, I guess, I don't know, in his throat or stomach, wherever it was, wherever they were there. And he took some string and he balled the string up, right? He balled the string up. They gave him a glass of water. He drank the water. And then he was just spitting out water. I guess it was part of the show. And then he was doing something with his stomach. Like he was trying to push it up or something. It was crazy, man. And then all of a sudden, the string came out. And then each one of the razors were on the string. And I was like, man, because when he put the camera down his throat, you can see the blood. You could see the blood that was around the actual razors. I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe it's something that, it could be fake. I don't know. But it was very convincing. My man pulled it out. And the razors were all on that one string. I don't know how he did it. But he was crazy. And then he did some other magic tricks like the pigeons that they always do. That was convincing as well. I'm like, that's crazy. And then we all know the whole box trick. There's different compartments in the box where the person. Now, there was one trick that he did. My man was on stage. Criss Angel was on stage. This is one that I cannot debunk. My man was on stage. And he ended his speech and he ended up in the crowd. My man showed up in the crowd. Like in a blink of an eye, he was in the crowd. I was like, my wife was like, what? And I was like, dude, how did you get from there to there? My man disappeared and was in the crowd like in a blink of an eye. Gone. Didn't, dude, there was no blanket. He didn't hold no blanket over, to disappear or anything. He was, the light shut out, boom, bing, and it came back on. He was in the crowd. No freaking way. There's no way, dude. Dude, I mean, they were giving that man praise. They were shouting him out, man. I mean, and Criss Angel is funny. The guy is a comic. He knows how to get people to laugh. I'm pretty sure he's been doing this for quite some time. The guy is just freaking phenomenal. So if you guys have an opportunity, not YouTube, okay? If you ever have an opportunity to go to a Criss Angel, Mind Freak, Street Magic show, do go to it. I don't think it's just only in Vegas. I think he does. I think a majority of his shows are in Vegas because it's Vegas, right? Do go. And there was a lot of events going on out there as well. Let me see. What other magic trick did he do? He did one of his famous tricks. I forgot what it's called, where he just disappears. He threw up the blanket and all of a sudden he was gone. So people were like, still, how did he do that? What else did he do? Man, he did some crazy stuff. He did some crazy stuff, man. I'm just trying to think. But anyways, I don't know. I can't explain it at all. So I don't think anyone else can explain it unless he comes up to you like face to face and be like, yo, this is how I did the trick. And magicians, they don't tell their secrets at all. There was no card tricks, none of that crap. This is stuff that he did on the street that people were like, how in the world did you do his levitation trick? I'm telling you, when he did it to the other guy. Now, I don't know because he did show a video before he did his levitation tricks. And Shaq was in one of those videos, and Shaq was in the video, and there was other people in the video too. And I don't know how true that video is with him levitating Shaquille O'Neal, but you could see people standing around him. I don't know if he talked to Shaq before, hey, this is how we do this trick, etc. I don't know, right? But that was what I was looking for. I was like, okay, I want to see the real deal here. I want to see if you actually did this stuff that you did, like, in the sky, levitating, and all that stuff. My man, dude. My man levitated this guy. And I was like, okay. All right. Great. Fine. But when he did it himself, I was done. Everybody was done, dude. Everybody was done. No strings, no nothing. There was no curtain hiding him. He wasn't behind nothing. He wasn't. I'm like, dude, how are you walking in midair, man? How are you doing this? This is insane. But anyways, that was our experience at the Mind Freak, Criss Angel Magic, Street Magic show. We had a good time there. I do have some footage, but not of the tricks. We couldn't record. A very, very, very strict policy. I'm telling you, there was security around. If they catch you, you're done. You couldn't even look and see what time it was. They was like put the cell phones up now. So, but that's it, man. We had a good time. He says, great to hear you chatting about this. Yes. Extra gallon would help. He said extra gallon would help. I think you're responding to the thinker. Next magic for Chris. Man, oh man. And he's got to be making bukus of money, man. There was so many people in there. And he was doing several shows that night. Crazy. Man, but I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys for coming through. Just to catch up on, what's been going on. And I appreciate all of you, man. All of you, those who responded in the chat, keeping me up to date. D Nice, I hope you still here. If not, I appreciate the love. Yeah, we could talk about anything and everything else, man. It doesn't have to be about gaming, man. I'm try my best to talk about some other things too, but I'm gonna try to see if I can get these string of videos together and make it just one video, and just post it to the channel if you guys want to check it out. Our time in Vegas, Arizona. We went to go see the Grand Canyon, Hoover Dam, Area 51, which we didn't get the chance to. I'm pretty sure that whole area was Area 51, because there was signs all over the place. So the next trip is going to be Japan. Japan, Mount Fuji. I want to go to the apparently this haunted forest at the foot of Mount Fuji. I guess there's a lot of Japanese or people that go there to commit suicide. I hate to bring that stuff up, but I was told that there wasn't really any truth to it, but the father-in-law is going to take us up there, and we'll get to experience that. We're going to go up north again. As I stated earlier in the stream, we're going to go up north. He's going to show us, traditional Japan. We're also going to go up towards where the tsunami hit, but we're not going to go that far into it. I'm like, to do it. I don't want to come out with any extra toes or fingers. But we're going to go in that direction. Yes. We're going to go to Japan again. We normally go to Japan every year. Okay. So that my wife can see her family. So that my wife could see her family, and because they don't travel over here, they're very busy. My father-in-law owns his own company, so he's very busy. He doesn't normally fly over here to the States unless it's business. And PE, I think he goes to I think he has went to Africa as well. And I think my sister-in-law, because she's like third in command at the office, and I think she went to Africa as well. They had some kind of there was some products that they were assisting other companies with selling, like the smart boards and stuff like that. More on the educational side, and also with what was it? I think it was like help. I think it was like an initiative that they had going on with other corporations with clean water and stuff like that. It was a lot of other stuff that she went there for. So yes, so Japan again, and then it's going to be either France, either England or France. We haven't made up our mind yet. My wife has been to Paris, and my daughter wants to go to Paris. So pretty much what we're doing is, my wife pretty much said to age with getting old and following a bucket list, we're going to do it now. She was like, we're going to do it now while we're young. We're going to do it now while the kids are young, so that they can get that experience. So she also wants to do Mount Rushmore. She wants to go see the president's faces. She wants to go to Yellowstone. So she's trying to visit just about every monument here in the United States. Yeah, France is hot right now. Yeah, they're doing a lot of protesting and stuff like that. So we're definitely not going to France right now. So it's all over the media. So if there comes a time where everything is cool and copacetic, where we can hop on the plane and go out, we'll definitely do that. But if it's the same, we're not going. We're not going at all. But my wife does want to go to England. She's always wanted to go to England. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I definitely don't want to miss this Japan trip next year because of what my father-in-law wants to do. Because there are times that we do go to Japan. He's very busy. He's either out in Tokyo because he has his business is out. His business has moved into Tokyo, so he was in Osaka. He has his business in Osaka. He opened up a new office in Tokyo, so him and his brother are like trying to manage both. So they're growing right now. So yes, we did bring up Africa. But there will be some more discussion on that. Where she wants to go in Africa. Okay? Because mainly, we always hear about South Africa and she wants to go down to South Africa. But yes, Africa did come up in the conversation while we was in Vegas. And I definitely want to visit Africa. I think that would be nice to do so. And we've had a conversation. I'm definitely going to reach out to you again when we do make that decision. And that decision may come to fruition a lot earlier than you think, because it depends on what's going on elsewhere. Africa was part of the discussion, so, and that'll be great to be able to go to the motherland and get that experience as well. Some other countries that come to mind, Australia and Malaysia. And my wife is kind of skeptic about Malaysia, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We have a lot of ambitions, a lot of places that we want to go. So we want to do it while we're young, But it is an option. But if you guys have an opportunity to get out and travel, go travel, man. Spend time with your families. Live life. Get out and live life while you can. I know it's probably tough, and money is always in the equation, but you can always, start your planning. You don't have to go everywhere, but just start your planning. Pick a spot and say, hey, I want to go here, and and just make it happen. Just do it. Save up for it, plan for it, and then just go. I highly recommend it. So, I mean, even if it's just to Hawaii, if you want to go to Hawaii, take a trip out there, man. But again, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Stay gaming, man. Stay true to yourselves. Stay authentic. Enjoy your families. Enjoy your weekend. Now, I am going to be coming back with another live stream today. We're going to pick back up on Final Fantasy 16. So if you want to come by and, join me on that stream, you can. So I'm thinking about coming back around maybe either 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Because I need to catch up with some Final Fantasy 16. I really want to get back into it and go from there. But I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I enjoyed the conversations that we have, and hopefully we can have more. So what do we wake up to tomorrow? We'll see. Hopefully it's worth chit-chatting about. And I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. And hopefully to see you back in the stream between 5 or 6. 5 or 6. But I'll post it out on Twitter. All right. Take care, guys. Hit the like button. Share the stream if you can. And hopefully, before you go, 500 subscribers. Once we hit that, we're going to be giving out a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X or a ROG Ally. So you don't want to miss out on that. Cool. And right now, I think we're at 200. I think we're at 49 subscribers or 250 subscribers. So again, once we hit that milestone, we're gonna share some love. We're gonna share some love. All right, and then we're definitely gonna give out some stuff in between that time. So the guess what's in that box is coming back. So make sure you guys pay attention out on Twitter. That is coming back. I am gonna give you guys some hints, not to make it too difficult for you to guess what's in that box. Okay. Also, we'll probably throw out some Xbox and PlayStation gift cards. Cool. All right, guys. Love you guys again. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys hopefully later on today in the gaming stream. All right. Peace out.